The first pose that we're going to start with today is called the staff pose, or Dandasana in Sanskrit. For this pose, and in fact all the other forward fold and inversions, I strongly recommend that you have either a bolster or a pillow. I'll explain why in a few seconds. If you don't have a bolster or a pillow, then a single yoga block will suffice. The Dandasana, or the staff pose, is a foundational pose to any seated forward fold. It works magic on your abdominal core. It trims the fat around your waistline. It increases the pressure, the intra-abdominal pressure, that makes your breathing much more effective and also allows your internal muscles, the muscles of your abdominal core, to support your spine so much better. It also said to relieve gas from bloating and other gastric reasons. And it is really a foundational pose for all seated forward bends. So, how do you do this pose? We start by sitting on the mat, and this is where your bolster or the pillow comes in hand. If you have super tight hamstrings, or if you find yourself that when you're sitting you are leaning forward, then I suggest to grab a pillow and situate your sitting bones, the two bones that are protruding from your butt, right on that pillow. And you can play, you can slide forward or sit all the way onto the pillow. This has the effect of elevating your pelvis, and it provides a much better support for your spine. So with the bolster or without, you're going to find a nice sitting pose, extending all the way through the legs. You're going to flex the toes in. You can have a slight bend in your knees, so no reason to kill yourself here by extending through your knees, a slight bend here. And essentially, this pose is simplicity at its best. Placing the hands either on the pillow or on the floor next to your hips. You're going to push through the palms, extending through the elbows, and create a 90-degree angle between your torso and the legs. Now, this sounds very easy, but it actually engages almost instantly your entire abdominal core. So as you're sitting here, supporting yourself with your hands, flexing the toes in, trying to extend through your knees, trying to create that 90-degree angle, you will find that all of the muscles of your abdominal core are engaged. And you can easily see while spending 30 to 60 seconds in this pose is already quite challenging. If for some reason you're not feeling it, then most likely you're either rounding through the back, so your abdominal core is not engaged, or maybe you're leaning too much backwards. So finding that 90-degree angle so that you can engage your abdominal core, pressing through the palms into the mat or a bolster. And if you have short arms, you're welcome to place blocks as well and press into the blocks. And as you're holding this pose, you want to feel that you're really pressing through the sitting bones into the mat, that your shoulders are rolled back and you're dropping down the shoulders, sliding the shoulder blades down your back. You're lifting up your chin, bringing the ears over the shoulders, making two nice straight lines. And if this is not challenging enough for you, I invite you to release the hands and lift your hands, and you will feel the engagement, even more engagement in your abdominal core. So while this is not a forward fold, this pose is an absolute must for transitioning into the forward folds. It has the capability to really extend your spine, warm up your hamstrings before we start folding forward. So let's do a quick recap. Sitting on a bolster or on the floor, knees are extended, maybe a soft bend, flex the toes in, place the hands next to your hips, pressing through the palms, extending the elbows, lifting up the chin, drawing it back so that the ears are over the shoulders, sliding the shoulder blades down the spine, gazing directly in front of you, and pressing through the palms, growing nice and tall through the spine. And most importantly, as we're holding this for 30 seconds to 60 seconds, we want to ensure that we are breathing. So we're not holding our breath and hoping for a miracle to happen. We are breathing. Remember, breath is the secret sauce of yoga, something that uniquely distinguishes it from other forms of physical exercise. So holding this for 30 to 60 seconds, you will feel engagement in the core, and then to come out of this pose, you simply release. So this is the staff pose or Dandasana.